Is there anybody right now that is still available that you are saying to yourself, if we're still looking, I think we should go in this direction?
Yes. I am not satisfied at cornerback right now.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to go into next season with Mike Sanders still as our outside corner. Love
Yeah.
that guy. I want him to be able to play in the slot where we drafted him. And so there's a couple corners that are out there that I got my eyes on. One just got cut, Chidobe Awuzie. He has previous
Mm-hmm.
experience in Dallas, so I'm curious what Quinn thinks of him.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Kendall Fuller when he played here. I mentioned him weeks ago on our show. If he'd be willing to come back for a third time to DC. I saw another name out there. The guy's played before, and I'm pretty sure it's the one that has two hands. Shaq Griffin.
Yeah. I knew exactly what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's got starting experience, and so if this is a guy who's going to be either your corner 3 or he's going to vie for the starting cornerback job with a draft pick, I'm okay with kind of that mindset, and maybe that would lower whether we need to draft a corner in the first round or not. So yeah, I do think I'm not done at corner, and I'm hoping this is when we can get some value deals. Plus, they still got two of my guys out there that I mentioned, and for cheap contracts, Rock Yassin and Caleb Farley, both still out there. Bring them in and let them earn their spot on the roster. What about you?
Oh yeah, they're definitely out there. Wait, you don't want to bring back a Fabian Monroe? You don't bring this guy back, or you want an Eli Apple in there? No, not at all. Yeah, no, I see these guys there. Jeff Okuda, I've talked to you about him, and in the land of these corners that are available, the top corners, he's the youngest at 26. But obviously, we know there's injury issues. Rasul Douglas, those years he played with Green Bay. I'd be interested, depending on the price. Gilmore, I have my eye on. Tre'Davious White, he's had 8 years in the league, played in Baltimore last year. I mean, if we're bringing in a guy that we know can play opposite of Lattimore and get in there right away, I'd be interested in that. That corner is huge for me as well, because I think that's somewhere where we definitely need to be focused on. I also slightly look here at running back. And for me, and I talked to you about this before we got on, Jamal Williams. We talk about character. We talk about somebody that brings some levity to the locker room. We've seen what he's done elsewhere, but he's also a solid performer. And then I saw another guy on here. You mentioned him to me. Any other day, I would pull the trigger immediately. But with these two recent injuries, or with his knee injuries and the most recent one looking as bad as it did, Nick Chubb, Will, would you, if we in fact maybe moved on from Brian Robinson, would you get a Nick Chubb?
Well, I don't think we're moving on from Brian Robinson. So what does Chubb bring to the table that Eckler and Robinson don't already are? Yeah. I think we need something at running back, but I don't think he's it.
Yeah. And you know where I stand at running back. Going to my Tar Heels, getting a Marion Hampton if we can do that. But and that's something that I have to agree with. And we've talked about it a lot about potentially, what are they going to do at running back? How do they feel? And we know the fans have been like, oh, cough their head. They're, the fumbles, yada, yada, yada. Get them out of here. But what we've seen is that the coaching staff likes these guys, Obviously Eckler, but definitely B-Rob. Towards the end of the season, Quinn paid extra special attention to him and really got him going. And we'll see what happens. I'm sure they're going to try to, keep working with him this year. But I do think that we do need to, and I've talked to you about this, light a fire under these guys. We got Rodriguez back on, I think, a futures contract. We re-signed McNichols. I don't think they're going to be the answer long term. No. So let's definitely move on, and that's something for the draft. But every once in a while, I do like to take a look and see what backs are out there. Yeah. But again, there's none of these guys that you're sitting here like, yes, I want that guy. You know what I mean? Like an Amir Abdullah, Chase Edmonds, some of these guys that have skill. Chase Edmonds, I know he played at Arizona. Did he play at Arizona? Yeah, with Cliff. So, familiarity. but it's just not one of those places that, even though we think there's an issue there, it's not a glaring hole for all things that we've seen from their perspective. They think we're good here. If we upgrade, we'll do it in the draft or later. Or at least that's what they've kind of showed us.
Right.
So
I think to Anthony's question here about where was this? I think because Thomas Dimitrov was helping him in the draft room, and guess who's not in the league anymore? But I'm still not. So what we're not sure about right now is, where is Brandon Coleman playing? Are you moving him to right tackle? If you're moving him to right tackle, what are you doing with Andrew Wiley? Is he your Sam Cosmi replacement, which means Nick Allegretti is your starting left guard? Is that good enough? Is Coleman moving to left guard? And now you still need an injury replacement for Sam Cosmi. That's the part we don't really know about what's the plan at offensive line. So I'm still looking at veteran guards who played many, many years before that can come in here and be the injury replacement. Brandon Sheriff, Will Hernandez, Mark Glowinski. Those guys could come in and play for 4 or 5, 6 games if that's what we need for Cosmi. I don't know if they'd be better or worse than Allegretti. I'm not really one to say that Allegretti should be a starter on our offensive line. So I'm kind of really not sure about that. And then, I will also say this, you went into your running backs and how much you like that. Wide receiver, there still are some names out there. Would they be willing at this point now in week 2 of free agency to say, I'm going to go to a winner and I'm going to take a 1-year contract and I'm going to prove myself? And I'm looking at Stephon Diggs. I'm looking at Amari Cooper. I'm looking at a Tyler Lockett. But I'm also looking at, if we're worried about size, even though we brought back Noah Brown, Tyler from the Titans, big guy, red zone target. And then the slot guy you really like, I heard he was visiting teams, but he hadn't signed yet. I don't believe, is Rondell Moore. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anton Benson, that's your dude.
That's
Rondell Moore. And that's where I'm looking at, because now in my mind we have our main 2 wide receivers. So let's bring in guys that are going to come in and be able to pick up what a Jahan Dotson was supposed to be. So I'm looking, at Rondell Moore, Elijah Moore. You and I talked about him, in his time in Cleveland, and he was, he's only 24, about to be 25, but he was a stud coming out of Ole Miss. Josh Reynolds, somebody that's bounced around the league, that always seems to find himself in good situations. I think he was with the Jags. Was he with the Lions a couple years back?
I think so.
And then obviously Robert Woods, another guy that gets around, that he's hurt us many years. He's going to be 33, so obviously he's on the bad side of 30. But at the same time, with Debo and Terry taking a lot of the attention away, and Ertz, you're going to have one of these guys that's going to be that slot guy that's going to potentially be able to come in and really make a killing. You look at what Noah Brown did, and Olamide Zaccheaus, and even Diami got attention because, they were putting attention on our guys that were contributing more. That might be something where you get a guy in here, now you have studs at these positions, this guy can make a killing. And then he'll go off somewhere and say, hey, I want $20 million because of my one good year in Washington. We'll be benefit from that. I'm good with that. So, Mr. Ellie, Texas was back.
Never forget.
Let's go.
Never forget that.
Oh yeah. So, and look, at the end of the day, a lot of this, it's kind of guessing where they're going. I think a lot of the moves that we've seen with the people they brought back for depth, and the bigger moves that they've made, the Debo, Larry Tunsil. Okay, now, like I said, we're good. We have those positions, and it's kind of fun to look at, see, okay, well, I'm still not okay here. I'm still not okay there. So it's like, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? But I think for me, and let me know how you feel about this. For me, if we don't do anything else in this free agency and wait for the draft, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
I think I'm good. I mean, is there anybody that you?
I mean, there's big name wide receivers out there, but I'm not sitting here looking at stuff. I guess maybe I'm still a little worried about corner and having good enough depth there.